When I bought my house, I ripped everything out of the yard. I've only left a couple of items or a couple of plants. My mimosa tree, there's some western sword ferns. I think they just kind of showed up on their own. A couple other ferns. There's some clematis, and there's this rhododendron. And this thing is just so scraggly and just kind of out of shape, and I've been trimming it back. So I guess the word is you're supposed to do a third per year, so it takes 3 years to rehab. Well, I'm in year 2 and it still does not look good. There's a lot of crossing of the branches, like that is not what you want. I did cut some back, it's sending up new growth, but you know what, this used to be a shady spot, and with the loss of all my mature canopy, this thing kind of took a bit of a beating last year, and this is now no longer a shady spot, but a wicked hot spot. So we're gonna say goodbye. I kind of made this decision yesterday. This one produces actually really quite beautiful purple flowers, but I think it's time to let it go. You can see some of the pruning I did, but really I would need to take it right back to probably a foot or so high and then wait 2 or 3 years for it to improve. But even still, with the added sun and heat that this spot gets, I don't think that this thing's really going to do all that well. So fast forward, I have a new plant going in. I may as well show it to you. And I got myself another Mahonia, and this is the charity media charity cross. I have one of these. It's about 6 feet tall. These things will actually get quite big with age. Sorry, we've got real blustery spring weather here. And if you've ever seen a really mature old specimen, they are just like nothing you've ever seen. Really kind of crazy looking plant. Very thick, hard leaves, drought tolerant. You will read things that will say shade or part shade, but I've seen these in full sun and they look fine. This tag on this particular plant says full sun. I know they're very drought tolerant, so that's a great spot. Long term, it's going to be probably about 10 or 12 feet tall, so that's good. I don't want anything too tall there, so let's say it might get to that kind of where the chimney narrows. Probably not quite that high, but it will produce a really that's a crazy wind. It will fill in that spot, and it's gonna look pretty wild. The other one I have, I love it. So it'll be these Trachycarpus fortunae will be up above it, and there's actually a Livingstone and Natita, so we'll see if that guy makes it long term. But it's going in there, provide some nice evergreen structure, very architectural looking plant. I think it's going to look great, so we'll see how it looks in a minute here after I remove this. So it ended up being a little more work than I thought. The rhoda wasn't so bad. There was a large Norway maple in that area, and the roots are still everywhere. It was all wrapped around the roots. The Norway maple and the rhoda were all intertwined, so I went and I removed some sections, but further down there's even bigger roots. Going right at my foundation, of course, but it's one of the reasons I cut it. There it is. Lots of room there for that guy to spread out. And I will tell you, the first time I saw one of these, like I mentioned previously, it was a very large specimen. I would say it was 15 foot. It might even been more. I just remember looking at it and thinking, what is that thing? I've never seen anything like it. I would say that these big Mahonias are every bit as impressive as a palm tree. Every bit. I like them just as much. And I was really happy. Kind of hit me the other day to put this one here. A little bit more work than I thought. I thought I was going to whip out that rhodo, the roots in all of 5 minutes. Probably took me 20. But here you go. So once this gets bigger, it's going to be very impressive in this corner. It's going to love the sun and the heat, very drought tolerant. So I'm going to go around and I will show you my larger one, which is in shade, but it's still quite a nice plant. So 1 second. So my big Mahonia is a little bit hidden. My big media charity, you can see it's forming a bit of a trunk here. In time, this will become more visible. Right now, this trachea has fronds. Those will be, with time, those will be coming off. Same thing with this magnolia here. It's going to be growing up, but look at this thing. Is that not cool or what? I wish I could get you an overhead so you could see how amazing this plant really is. This is a hybrid type of Mahonia. It was created in Ireland. I don't know if it was on purpose or not, but you can see it gets like a bit of a quirky looking trunk. The one thing you gotta watch out for is those leaves are sharp, very prickly plant. You can kind of see the growing point. So it flowered there where that black portion is, and then it grew that last year. And so this year, once these flowers, these fruit, which will ripen blue, they'll come off, and then it'll start growing from that point on there. You can kind of see this one here has already started with its growth point, and maybe even the one up there. So there's kind of three main trunks on this thing now. But this is, I'm telling you, these things are really awesome plants, and they seem quite adaptable, and they do very well in the Pacific Northwest. And I mean, I've seen people, Jim Putnam over on HortTube, I know he's planted some of these down in I think North Carolina, and they'll survive there too. They don't mind it. So although there, I think you got to put them more in the shade. Anyway, if I could get a better shot, I wish I could, but it's a little jungly right now. But in time, once this magnolia and this palm here, goes up and we start trimming back those fronds, I'm gonna have this really awesome Mahonia to look at. Anyway, bit of a long video, but that's one of my first plantings of the year. Got a couple more things I'm putting in this weekend.